Hi everyone! As I promised, here is March's Art Roundup. I had a really great time making my February roundup, and the response I got on it was really lovely. Everyone was super supportive, and I enjoyed the comments so much. To give a brief overview of March before I get into this, I had so much happen to me. I was spending a lot of time working out the beginnings of my channel and trying to plan out what I wanted to do with my life because the layoffs just kept coming and coming. I was really stressed out and I felt really hopeless, but I figured that I'd have to settle for a job completely unrelated to any of the skills that I worked so hard for. But I'm really happy to say that I got into this program that's been helping me with buffing up some job searching skills and resume building, so I've been attending that for about 5 days a week. I'm more productive now than I ever have been, but a lot of that is because I'm in a better living situation now. My output in March has been absolutely crazy, and it's the most I've drawn in a really long time. Although Easter weekend definitely helped add quite a few more drawings than I would have normally been able to do on a regular weekend. Also, I get an hour-long lunch, so I've been drawing on my iPad occasionally during my lunch hour if my partner is ever busy. Point is, I had a really good month, both art and otherwise, and I'm super excited to share all the things that I made. My first March session was about 4 days in during the evening, where I tend to draw the most. I was just drawing some random bodies in random poses, and I'll usually draw them as a character that I like, so I did that with Power. But then I wasn't super happy with it, so I redrew it and then made it some random character that I made up. These two I haven't actually shown before, but they're two of my Splatoon OCs. The one on the left is named Q, and the one on the right I wasn't super sure what to name. I went with Ku, but I think I'm gonna call them Hachi instead. They're just Japanese numbers, but I picked Q specifically because it sounds like cute. And she's the type of character that uses her cuteness as a tool. They're both twins, but okay, well, I'll just call them Hachi for now. Hachi is mute. Anyway, this is them in some side order gear. These are just some random life drawings from poses that I made up, so there's no reference. I just do this because it's really fun, and there's no specific characters in particular. And this is Power, just two versions of her. The one on the left is a paintover of a photo that I took, and the right is a redraw. The photo showcases my Power doll. It's from Fig Zero, and it was a gift from my partner for my birthday. It's one of the coolest things I own, and the art and skill that went into it is just incredible. I really can't recommend them enough. They also did an amazing job on the packaging, but they are a bit costly, but super worth it, because it's super affordable for what you get. I'm definitely gonna get another one someday. This is another Power. I was feeling a bit bothered by my lack of stylization, so I purposely tried stylizing this one a bit more than usual. It's pretty cute, and I like how it turned out. These two are Strawberry Cream and Stolen Cookie again, where it's a summer day and they're just hanging out and being really cute. I love them a lot. Also, I made Straub a little fox boy, like a furry. I feel better about Stolen's body now too, as it's more correct. This is a product from my final stream before I had to take a hiatus, and I decided to do a sculpture based on my redraw of the Nurse Morgan figure that I like a lot. I only did it in about 3.5 hours, and everything you're seeing here was all done on stream, and the VOD is up on my live tab if anyone's interested. There's a lot of issues with it, but I'm super happy with how much I got done in such little time. This is a draw over of my sculpt, trying to figure out what I would change if I went back to it. The legs are a huge problem, but the one that I starred, that view looks the absolute best. I really like how the legs are a bit more together in that view, so if I went back to it, I'd have to do a lot of work to the legs. This is a big reason why I like doing my sculptures in multiple pieces, so that I can pose my models like a doll rather than an armature. This one is just a close-up shot of Morgan, and I think she looks pretty good here. While I don't overall like the face in every other angle, this one was pretty good. And then I just painted over it to get an idea of what it would look like with a bit more work. And here, I decided to draw Morgan since I was on a bit of a kick, but because this was my first drawing of the day, I was a little bit rusty. I tried figuring out the legs so many times that I just ended up giving up. This Morgan I like a lot. It's nice and loose, but still pretty tight overall. I really like the brushwork, and I like her face a lot, especially her nose. I actually have two versions of this drawing, one on just a white background and one with gray. I think I ultimately prefer the gray, but I asked some friends and they prefer the other ones. Although at the end of the day, it's what I think looks best, so I opt for gray, usually because it just helps my eyes a lot more. This one's another Power. I was trying to make more interesting poses, like more action-y. My initial outline is on the right, and then I did a first draft on the left. And then I redrew my first draft in this one, so it looks a lot better now. And then I ended up doodling Power in the bottom right because I was having a lot of trouble with her face. And then after that, I ended up turning the doodle into an entirely different drawing, adding a bit more of a setting to it, and it was really fun. And these are just some failed drawings that didn't really go anywhere and are pretty meh. These I made on my lunch break. I was just warming up by redrawing people that I saw in Pinterest. I initially just drew from observation, and then I got kind of curious and I was like, I wonder if I can overlay this photo and then see how good I ended up getting it. So it then turned into a study, and I separated the two versions. The right version is a version where I grabbed some elements and moved them around or liquefied them. It's interesting what I got correct and what I didn't. I suppose we all view faces in our own way, and our biases can become obvious next to the correct versions. And this is just another drawing from the same lunch break. This time I turned her into Lena from Ace Attorney because it's similar to how I interpret her character. These are just some initial warm-ups for a session, so there's not a whole lot happening. And then same with these, I know it's having a pretty tough time. Things started getting better with this drawing, so I made it into fairy type Miku. And then things got a lot better with this drawing, where I redrew this piece of Maka and Soul. I scoured everywhere for the source, but all I could find were reposts, so if anyone knows who the OP is, please let me know. I ended up reinterpreting the drawing by making it a little bit more, like, outwardly Soma. Redrawing the art helped me not worry so much about certain things sometimes, like, I get too wrapped up in correct shapes, and it's hindering my ability to draw a lot of things. Also, I liked that I was able to interpret the rest of the drawing and what their bodies might have been doing. So for this one, I thought it was actually going to be a redraw of official art. I'm not a Tekken player, but I love the designs and I'm a big fan of how Tekken 8 looks, so I actually had no idea that this wasn't official. I found it on Pinterest, and it turns out that it was fan art made by Jasmine Darnell, and I absolutely love her work. It's super professional and really well made, so I highly recommend everyone check her out. Redrawing this was really fun, and I liked how much tension there was at the torso and the chest. And this was my final drawing for that session, and it was my original character Macy. During these two redraws, I was trying to focus on better line work, so I continued that here. I liked drawing her outfit and her face the most, as I've been working on giving her a really unique face. And then these two are just some iPad drawings from one of my lunch breaks of my characters. This one's Bingle, my mascot or avatar or whatever. Unfortunately, I'm not a beefed up busty bunny cowgirl, but I like drawing her face from the side and making it slightly more animalistic. This one is a redraw of the screenshot of Cloud in The Sims 4. The caption said, "Okay bitch, slay," and it made me laugh a lot, so I redrew it. I thought I had it bookmarked, but I guess I don't, so if anyone has the of OP, please let me know and I'll add it to the description. It was really funny. So these two are just some side views of Macy. The first one on the left was just like absolutely botched, but the immediate retry that I did I like a lot, and it ended up being one of my favorites. This is a drawing page of both Macy and Palette from Megaman. I love Palette. She's my favorite navigator and one of my favorite Megaman designs overall. I was super happy that I drew these, but at the end of the day, I wasn't overly proud of them. This one is a bit of a mixed export. The drawing on the left is from 2 days later, but the drawing on the right was from the other session. I just drew them on the same canvas. The right drawing is a failed version of the previous, and the left is a Kajinka of Cannoli Cookie from Cookie Run. And then this one is a failed drawing of S'more Cookie's Kajinka, but it ended up being okay because I tried again immediately after and it looked a lot better. At the end, I ended up with this, where I took my initial cannoli drawing and drew the rest of her body, and then I drew S'more to match with her. I really like them a lot, and their costumes are super well designed, so thank you very much, Devsies. This one is just from a little iPad session I did when I really needed footage for my 2024 goals video. I didn't actually have anything for viewers to look at since it was just me talking, and I had drawn Bingle as if she was drawing on her iPad, so it kind of had to be an iPad thing. I decided to draw a Chocobar in her costume because I feel like it's a way better design than her original one, and it actually inspired Bingle's design a little bit. I'm still getting better at using my iPad to draw. I don't really use it that often, but there's definitely improvement there. Also, the guy on the right is my partner's OC, who you're gonna see a little bit for the rest of the video. So, as mentioned, this is mine and my partner's OC. The left is Macy, who's mine, and then the right is Tut, my partner's. This is something I'll discuss more in a future video, so I'll try to be brief, but things have been so much better for me that I've been able to get back into talking about OCs with my partner a lot like we used to years ago. We used to just text for hours and make up dialogue and stories and characters and stuff. So for context, these are headshots of Tut and Macy in their primary story, which is where they're fake dating. It's very Tumblr, but we put a lot of work into it. Macy is a trauma surgeon, and Tut is a security guard at the hospital that she works at. And these are some full body concepts of them in casual clothes, and also Miku is there for some reason. I felt like doing some life drawings, so I went on this website I found on Reddit, and I did some quick 1-minute gestures and then numbered them in order. These two are gestures I really liked from that session, and I decided to spend an extra 5 minutes cleaning each of them up. This is a work in progress that I may or may not go back to of Tut and Macy on her condo balcony while she's smoking. The context here is that I think it's the first time he's seen her smoke, and it's the first time he asks her for one. It's a reoccurring theme in the story where whenever she'd smoke with him, he'd ask her for a cig and she'd refuse to be the first person that gives him one. This ultimately leads her to quit because she doesn't want him picking up smoking like she was pressured into many years ago. There's some composition things I like to work out, but this was the first time doing a big piece thumbnail / sketch in genuine years, and I'm super rusty but very happy with it. These are some random body drawings without any reference, I just kinda doodled them for fun. And then it's just the same thing for this one. This is Chocobar again. I was hoping I'd draw her better on my tablet, but it ended up being worse somehow. I don't know, I'll draw her again some other time. These are some random drawings I made after I made a new brush based off my old one. I lowered the opacity taper on the end so it's a bit more sketchy, making it easier for me to sketch as opposed to render or clean up. The Amaterasu drawing is based off of the noodle stopper that I have on my desk. I saw this VTuber design video and OP's VTuber was a really cute femboy nurse, and I thought that was pretty adorable, so I put one of my OCs in a little nurse costume. The right drawing is a redraw of a figure on my desk again though. And here's Macy and Tut again. The right drawing is a redraw of that sloppy makeup meme that was circulating a while back. And the left is a drawing of them hanging out together, where it kinda looks like they're posing for a photo. After I finished it, I realized that it ended up being a spiritual successor to this drawing I made of them way back when me and my partner first conceptualized their story. I drew that all the way back in 2020, so in January, and there's about a 4-year difference between those two images. Back then, I didn't quite understand what I wanted with Macy's body type, but I understand it so much better now. I drew this at the end of a really long drawing session, and I was super happy with where I left off. And then these are just some redraw style studies I did on March 31st. These took about an hour and a half to do all of them together, after being really inspired after finding some artists earlier on in the weekend. Seeing them made me feel really motivated to work on my stylization more, and I ended up having a ton of fun drawing these, and I'm super happy with them. I think I'll probably end up coloring them someday. And then that's it for March. I'm sure this one is going to be quite a bit longer than my previous, so I really appreciate anyone who watched it until the end. I'm really happy with how my progress in March went, and I had a ton of fun drawing after work. I'm slowly introducing more stylization to my work and getting myself to do things that I haven't done in a long time. Not only that, but I'm back to diving deep into genuine OC content after like a 2-year drought. I became so stressed out with my 3D and trying to get a job that my brain just kind of subconsciously decided that OC stuff wasn't important anymore and I shouldn't think about it. Again, this is something that I'll get into in a later video that I'm drafting right now, but it'll probably be the next thing I make because I feel like I have a lot to say about it. Anyway, yeah, that about wraps up this roundup. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll be back in April showing off more of my gay little drawings again. Bye!